Alright, and welcome to Chapter 8. Or actually, this is Throne of Bhaal, the expansion proper. In fact, I think we saw in the previous cinematic for the close of Chapter 7 for Shadows of Amn, the defeat of Irenicus and Lilly regaining her divine soul. And of course, we're returned to Queen Elysim in Sololesinar. We're actually awarded an amulet of Seldarine, which is actually a lot nicer than the amulet of magic resistance that Jaheira currently has. So I think it's going to allow her to keep that, and she'll hand her old necklace to Nalia. We'll simply sell the Laryl's Tear necklace. But we also saw in that closing cinematic, I think it was 7 figures around a table, and on the table was the symbol of Bhaal. And they were concerned with Lilly's rise to power, who they were, and what it's all about. Hopefully, I guess we'll find out here in the expansion, or these last 3 chapters. But actually, I want to talk a little bit about that. Where are we in this Child of Bhaal saga? I think we're about 140 some hours into the game, which obviously is longer than the first one so far, even with the Tales of the Sword Coast expansion. I think it's about 16 deaths, less than the first game, but I think that makes sense. This is a higher level campaign. It's a lot harder for characters to die. And 44 pages of notes. That's even more than the first game as well. But I estimate we're probably about 4/5 of the way through. As I said, there's only 3 more chapters, including this one, Chapter 8. I can't imagine it would be any more than 30 hours maximum till the end of the game. That's at most. So, where is Lilly and her company now? I think the current date, let's see. There it is. 4 Marpenoth, 1369. Marpenoth, also known as Lawful. I think we're in autumn. It's about 1 week after the fight with Irenicus. About 6 months since Irenicus' dungeon, and about 1.5 years since Lilly left Candlekeep. It's been a long time since she's been home idle, you might say. But actually, I want to review. I've never actually done this. Might be a good point, almost like an intermission, to just review some of the character records so far. Also kind of curious about information. Most powerful vanquished as well. So here's Mazzy, level 20th fighter, who has become a grandmaster with the short sword at this point. Alright. Look at that. Most powerful vanquish is the Hive Mother. That was part of the party with Misra and Watcher's Keep, guarding one of the locks for the final seal. It's interesting. And a considerable contribution for the party, almost 30%. Okay. And a little surprising because Mazzy joined quite later on. Obviously, only after we went to trade meet. Okay. Chapter 3, I believe. Jaheira, fighter druid, about level 14. I think at the next level she'll attain immunity to poison, if I'm not mistaken. And she's been training in quarterstaves. Staves. Alright. Yeah, I don't see the poison resistance here. Not sure it'll show up here either. She reaches 15th level. Alright. Most powerful vanquish, Karashur, which I think was the devil whose heart we had to deliver to a Tanari and Watcher's Keep, as Lilly got dragged a little bit into the blood war there. That's interesting. I wasn't even aware that she had that credit. Okay. Obviously not contributing as much as typically stands back for divine spell support. Okay. And Viconia, who's been advancing awfully quick. Level 24 cleric. She's been wielding Cromfair, I think, mostly. Yeah, which is why she has such a high weight allowance. Alright. Most powerful vanquish, Chromatic Demon. That's also from Watcher's Keep. It's interesting. Alright, contributing almost as much. Not quite as much as Mazzy. Alright. Of course, Lilly, level 20, Wild Mage. I think with, was this 4 million experience points. I think the Throne of Bhaal has an experience point cap of 8 million, which for a mage is about 31st level. But I don't think we'll ever see that, as we typically don't do everything available content-wise. Typically only do half of it, so at most, we'll have to see how far advanced she becomes. Okay. Boy, most powerful vanquish is still Firecrag from the Windspear Dungeon. It's interesting. And I wouldn't have expected such a high contribution to the party either. Typically she likes to leave things to others or summons. It's interesting. Alright. But I guess she's been here the longest, so it makes sense. And, yeah, Imoen. Dual Mage Thief, level 17 Mage. But of course she spent a lot of time held up in Spellhold. So I wouldn't expect her to be as advanced or to have contributed as much. Wow. Was not expecting that. Misadventures, I believe, is the black dragon that Arenicus flew in on into Soldanesinar. I didn't know Imoen had that credit. Okay. Yeah, look at that. 4% contribution. Lilly tends to pamper Imoen. She has the Autoluke Sphere contingency. She's often left out, protected somehow. Alright. Number of kills, only 38, but one of them quite powerful. Alright. Nalia, dual class, Mage Thief, level 17 Mage. So been now delegated to role of Company Thief. Which she's not awfully talented at. Alright. Most powerful vanquish is Mayvar. That's quite a while ago. And of course she was left behind. She didn't come to Watcher's Keep. They hired Jan Janssen for that. In case of lethal traps. She didn't want to lose Nalia. Look at that, only 2% contribution to the party. It's interesting. That's the least out of all of them, I believe. Alright. Yeah, I hope you don't mind that we went through some of that. Never actually done that all at once. Alright. Yeah, Throne of Bhaal. I think, I'm not sure. I must have played it, but I'm not sure if I've ever finished it. The only, well, after that fight with Nalmirsa in Watcher's Keep, I did have some painful memories, I think, of that battle, realizing it only afterwards. So, if that's the case, it's probably one of the tougher fights we'll see, or at least I'm hoping that's the case. The only other memory I think I haven't seen it yet, so it must be in the expansion, is fighting some female I think a spellcaster. I can picture the setting, but I can't remember her name, what role she plays. But that's probably a tough fight coming up. And, but boy, when we get there, you'll probably hear me crying. Because it's only two things I really remember. That fight with Nelmrissa, now after the fact, and I have some vague recollection of a tough fight with some other female coming up. Because we'll see. But, so we saw in the introductory cinematic for Throne of Bhaal, the quote was, I could probably bring up, in case you want to read this verbatim, here is the journal entry for the beginning of chapter 8. The time of the prophecy has come. So as far as I understand it, a Bhaalspawn war has emerged in Tethir. 5 powerful Bhaalspawn have risen with armies. I think Lily's wondering, where is her army? Of course, she only has this small company. But they've been slain, not only Bhaalspawn, but innocents, of course, fulfilling some of the prophecies of Alawandu, I guess. And Queen Elisim of Solanasenar has told Lily to come to a sacred grove in Tethir, the Tethir forest, to seek the guidance from the ancients, which I guess are gods or elven spirits. And actually, I think we can see that. Yeah, here. Forest of Tethir. And here, of course, is Watcher's Keep. So this is the country of Tethir, and country of Am is up north. But the last quote, I think, from that cinematic was, "So long as Bhaal's throne of blood remains empty, chaos shall reign." And I think, well, two things with that. I guess one, or Lily'd like to see one of two things. Either that throne of blood should remain empty, and if anyone's going to claim it, it should be her. One of those two outcomes. Not sure what the game is going to allow or where this is going to go, but I guess we'll find out. But that's really her, I guess, feelings, as it's becoming obvious that there are other Bhaalspawn, and she probably is likely one of them, but she still believes she's special somehow. So I guess we'll find out. Look at that, it looks like it's raining. The spirits of the forest await. Check through our possessions and spells. Once we're prepared for whatever may come, click on one of the stone heads to speak to the gods. Okay. Yeah, I think we're... Like I said, it's been a week since we returned to Queen Elisim. Although actually, oh look at that, even after a week, nobody's prepared their spells. Alright, hopefully we can do that without a problem. It's kind of silly. Alright.
What?
Just want to make sure, actually, well...
I deserve to be leader.
Alright, so she's missing a spell trigger.
Yes? Yep. How can I help?
Other stone skins. What happened?
What is it?
Alright, she was casting a spell trigger and nothing happened. She's missing her contingency as well. Alright.
What?
There we go. Helpless on self. On Luke's resilient sphere. It looks like Nalia has hers set up. Not sure if she was interrupted